Okay, so we got Nightmare on Elm Street for C64. But I used to own this one on physical copy. Pretty sure I had this one imported from America, and to my knowledge and what I've seen of things, I don't actually think this game was released in UK. So let's check this out. It's been a little while since I played this one, but I remember it being almost like a fun game, and I remember the box art for it being taken from the Dream Warriors, which is part 3, and of course you've got all the characters here from Dream Warriors. We got Kincaid.
Nation for everybody.
The fuck you will! Anybody tries drug on me, get his ass kicked.
You just bought yourself a night in the quiet room, mister. Now sit down.
Kristen, Will, the Wizard Master.
I am the Wizard Master.
In the name of Lorik, Prince of Elves, demon be gone!
Taran the Punk.
Welcome home, Taran. Look familiar.
Okay, asshole. Let's dance.
Joey, that one which has that weird encounter with the nurse, you know the one I mean.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling tongue-tied?
And we got, of course, Nancy, who at this point in part 3 of Dream Warriors, she turns into a aspiring psychologist. So anyway, let's pick some people. So Kincaid was one of my favourites. Good stuff, good times. So I just checked this out, and of course this game was published by Monarch Software. And from what I see, they only actually published 2 games. It was this one and another game. And you know, as you know, a lot of publishers, software publishers during this era were to a penny. But I'm actually surprised a very minor software publisher such as Monarch got to publish a big game like for a thing like Freddy Krueger. So this is it, and yes, it looks a little bit dull, given this game came out in 1989, it's not that good, but it's actually not a bad game. So if you can get past how it looks and enjoy it for what it is, it's pretty cool. So first part of this game is we need to find Freddy's house. So yes, this can take a very long time, and of course we got the time passes, so I'd imagine we're in a dream sequence at the moment, hence why Freddy's chasing me around. So, yeah, like I said, it's not the most amazing looking game, but I think it's a bit of an upgrade over the Nintendo NES version of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is kind of turned it into a complete, I don't know, sort of Mario-esque game. You know, the actual terror, the horror from the films had gone at that point, and you know, Nintendo back in those days didn't want to get really involved in graphic things, so I'm quite surprised they went in for it in the first place. And you know what, I just picked Kincaid a minute ago, but to be fair, all these characters, they all look the same, little matchstick people. So I'm going to go for my second favourite in Dream Warriors. I'm going to go for Taran the Punk. So yeah, I'm a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan, and when I realised this game was a thing, when I was collecting, and I had a massive collection at one point, yeah, obviously I went in for this, and I'm pretty sure I bought a sealed copy of it. It was a relatively cheap price as well for a new C64 game, wrapped. And it was proper wrapped. It wasn't, you know, someone on eBay trying to do me over. It was wrapped. So, if you don't know much about Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm sure most of you do by now, Freddy Krueger was burnt alive for molesting children in Springwood. And so he comes back and he invades people's dreams. Not any people though, specifically the people who burnt him alive. And he was some sort of janitor at a school, and that's how he was molesting children. So of course, as the years went on, we went on to Freddy's Revenge, which is a little bit debatable whether or not it was a good film or it was just a mess.
Freddy Krueger is back on Elm Street.
Get out of here, Lisa! Jesse, fight him!
Watch out for him. He'll be in your neighborhood soon.
Originally, Robert Englund wasn't meant to be in Freddy's Revenge because I think it was along the lines that he didn't like the script or the direction of it. But seeing the production as it went, it was such a mess that Robert Englund just went in for it. It turned out in Freddy's Revenge, the person who was playing Freddy Krueger in it was actually just going to be a generic stuntman. And of course, by now, this was Robert Englund's thing, you know, with the major success to Robert Englund as his character as Freddy Krueger, also put Wes Craven on the map big time. And of course, it also put Robert Shaye's distribution company, New Line Cinema, on the map as well in a big way. So, a lot going on there. So, of course, we get to a third film in the series, which was what this game seems to be based on, that's Dream Warriors. And that film by far is one of my favourites, if not my favourite. And I think that's a lot of Freddy Krueger's favourite film too. It's just got everything in it. Dream sequences are just superb. And then we move on to Dream Master, which is part 4, which is a very odd film, but it's a very good film. Lots of weird colours going on in that film. It's really trippy. And again, with the Dream Child Part 5, it's a very bizarre film, but it's a very good film with some very, very cool visual effects in it.
This boy feels the need for speed.
And then tragically, before Wes Craven's New Nightmare came along, we had Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Which, yeah.
Jump boy.
Oh shit, Spencer!
Come on, John. Good.
I'd probably compare that with the latest Halloween film, Halloween Ends. Wasn't that great, especially for a big character, you know, such as Freddy Krueger. And then, like I was just saying, we then had Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which took the film in a very odd direction, where the actors and actresses from the Freddy films are actually being terrorized in the real world by Freddy Krueger.
Films were found brutally slashed to death early this morning. Freddy's glove was missing, and police are speculating the murders were the result of a botched theft.
It's kind of mixed with that film. How I feel about that film. It's okay. I wouldn't say it was the best. And then, of course, during the early years, in the early 80s, we had a TV series, or that was more in America, called Freddy's Nightmares. I used to have these on video, but just... I think it was popular in America, but it just wasn't for me. So then, you know, it goes without saying the reboot was utter trash. To the point where it was just laughable, and I mentioned that in a couple of my other videos. Just an absolute mess. And as far as I'm concerned, it was nothing more than a cash grab. I think someone owns the rights to Freddy Krueger at that point. Maybe they had a year of that license owning Freddy Krueger left, and they just splurted out whatever rubbish they wanted to just to make a quick fortune out of. And that's it. And then, of course, we had Freddy vs. Jason, which was a very awesome film. I've seen that one at cinema. So, yeah, a lot going on in the Freddy Krueger world, or was. And, you know, I remember as a kid, I even had a Nightmare on Elm Street boards game I picked up at a local car boot sale, or a garage sale if you're in America watching this, which is kind of similar things. Right, so well, let's get on with this game. So, you've been watching me wandering around like this, and this little character I'm playing. If you're in Britain and you're at a certain age, you'll remember we had a show called The Krypton Factor, probably late 80s, very late 80s, early 90s, on Channel 4. And I'm pretty sure the logo adds a little character just like this little stick man I'm playing as, such random memory. So this is it. You know, once you can get inside of Freddy's house, and yeah, granted, all these houses look all identical pretty much. Once we get in there, the game actually starts, but sadly, we gotta find the way into the house first, and yeah, as you can see, I'm going around, and this is gonna take a long time. I'm not sure Freddy's house stays in the same place either. It's kind of like every time you load up this game, the map changes. So there goes Freddy, and there I am, just wandering around. I don't know if you noticed, but we have got a soul meter, so every time Freddy bumps into me, that soul meter goes down. And, you know, there's actually no music in this either. You get the music at the start of the film. And that's about it. And, you know, it's been a little while since I played this. Maybe on the next part of this game, you do get a bit of a soundtrack. But, yeah, I'm doing a lot of horror games at the moment. You know, the other day I did Evil Dead on the C64. Yeah. And it's surprising, there are some really, like, forgotten about gems. A little bit like this one. Some of you will disagree with me, this being a gem, but it is. Once you can bypass this part of the game, it does, you know, it turns alright, you know. Whereas most film game tie-ins, they are utter trash. Like, proper trash. So, you know, for God's sake. You know, this is pre-energy drink era, so this is natural energy my stickman is actually, you know, running on. So fair play, this just goes, kids, or children watching this video, you don't need energy drinks. You know, this stickman was doing this in '89. Well before energy drinks was a thing. But having said that, a lot of Elm Street children, they drunk coffee and caffeine tablets, caffeine tablets, so, well, you know. Like I say, the unhelpful thing with this part of this game is that the houses all look the same. You know, there's no defining characteristics on Freddy Krueger's house. So, you know, I'm literally going into every house or attempting to, and go away, man, go away. So, yeah, this game, this version of the game, this was available on DOS as well, I believe. And apart from the C64 game I'm currently playing, it was only DOS which had this game, I believe, or I could be wrong. Jesus. So I'm exhausting options here, literally. I'm pretty certain I've tried every house at this point. You know, yeah, visually, like I said a couple of times, it's not that great, but let's just pretend that this is a part of the nightmare we're in, where the world looks a bit strange. Yeah, I'm determined to find this house, so you can at least see the next part of this game. So I gotta say, I'm not selling this game too well, admittedly, but maybe you'll change your minds once you see the next part of it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, first time around I actually had to look somewhere to find out what to do in this game. You know, just being presented with this, it's a bit like, well, what am I doing? So, yeah, it gets up. You know, I've been playing this game flat out now for what, 10 minutes? I ain't getting anywhere anytime soon. Sound is on. Is it really? There was barely any sound in it. Right, let's just go to begin a new game again. Of course, this game is on 2 discs. Right, let's have a look. Joey, let's be Joey. No, I'll tell you what, let's be Will, the wizard master, the geeky one. Enter in Springwoods, USA. Find Freddy's house before he finds you. Well, that's what I've been trying to do. You know, some people watching this will find it a bit weird. It's like, Freddy's chasing after you. Why on earth would you want to go into his house? You know, but after all, the Freddy Krueger films are based on fantasy and just weirdness in general, so we'll just forget about that, you know, if we dig too deeply into that. So let's not go there to ask that question. You know, if anyone who knows this game actually knows of an easier way to find his house, do let me know. Please do let me know. Like I said, it wouldn't be so ridiculous if his house actually stood out, but it doesn't. All these houses are blue or red. You know what? I'm beginning to wonder if the makers of this game actually designed it to put you asleep, so Freddy could kill you. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I've been playing this game for a while now, and I have yet to fight Freddy's house. This is the most boring game I've played, and you know what? At the start of this video, I was praising it. But right now, at this moment in time, I'm not praising it. This game is just ridiculously boring. Right, so that's it. What I'm going to do for you, I truly give up with this. You know, I don't normally give up with games this quickly, but to be fair, all I've been doing since this video started is literally been doing what I'm doing now, just running around like this Krypton Factor logo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put some screenshots on now of what the game looks like later on. It's like I say, trust me, there's more to this game than this. But good luck finding the next part of the game, because if you download this game, and the link's going to be in my description to download it, you're going to find yourself in the same situation that I'm in. And like I said, I think it was with good intentions of the makers of this game to put you asleep so Freddy really could kill you off in real life. I think that's a possibility. So yeah, drop a comment down in the comments section, and of course let me know if there's an easier way around this, but to my knowledge, you need to find that house, and unless you find that house, this is what you're left with. And it's not nice. This is boring, like really boring. And it's such a shame because Freddy Krueger and the films on Elm Street are some of the absolute greatest horror films we've seen in horror cinema during the 80s. And do let me know how to play this if I'm doing something wrong, but I don't think I do. Take care.